Hey guys, so I'm back with another video, and this time we are going to talk about how destructuring works in JavaScript, right? So let's get started. Suppose we have one array, very simple array of integers. Now, what if I want to access the first item of this array, right? And at the same time, I am willing to assign into some variable as well. Like, let's say what I would do, I would just say temp 0, right? What if I want to access the second element, right? I can do like this, and let's see, I will store this second item to B variable and third item to C variable, right? Now this is the normal way how we deal with the accessing of array element, right? Now if I say there is a better approach in which I can extract the element of the array, and at the same time I am able to assign those values into some variable, because this is what I need, right? This is what I'm doing here. I'm extracting the element. First, I extracted this first item and assigned to some variable, right? So if I say, if there is a better approach to extract the element, and at the same time, I should be able to assign those elements into some variables as well, right? And that better approach looks like this. I would just say A, B, C with the square brackets, and I will just say temp. Okay. Now let's see what are we getting on ABC. Okay, let's see. We are getting A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, right? So you see, we are kind of able to extract the value of first item, second item, third item. At the same time, we are able to assign those value into this variable. And you need to understand how this works, right? It works from left to right. It'll keep moving from left to right, and it will keep assigning those values starting from here, right? Starting from here, left to right. One will be assigned to A, two will be assigned to B, three will be assigned to C, right? If I just say D, 4 will be assigned to D. Okay. Now what if I say E? So there is no fifth element, right? All 4 will be assigned till D. There is no fifth element. What should be the value of E then? It should be undefined. Undefined, right? Now this is the concept of destructuring. This is the only concept, right? What we are doing essentially, we are kind of capable of extracting the value from the array, and at the same time we are able to assign those values to some variable as well, right? If you see, in the older approach, what we were doing, we were every time we need to use this temp array name, right? Every time when we are willing to access it. So you are indirectly telling JavaScript to go to temp and then zeroth location, go to temp and then first location, right? And see this syntax, how concise it is, right? So this is destructuring in array. And now we'll see how destructuring work in object as well. So suppose I have one object, right? And if I ask you, give me the value of, let's say, this value of A key, right? It should be temp.a. And if I say, give me the value of B keys, right? This is A key, this is B keys, right? So I'm trying to access the value of keys inside this temp object. So this is what we normally do, right? Now see, with the help of object destructuring, what will happen? I'll just say A comma B temp and all set, right? So you can actually access the value of this key A and value of B like this. So what should be the value of A? Let's say, so A is equal to 20, B is equal to 30, right? So with the help of object destructuring, you are able to access the values of some keys, right? And are able to assign into some variable as well, right? So this is called object destructuring. So that is the basic destructuring thing, right? Where we say that we are able to extract the value from array object, and at the same time we are able to assign those values to some variables, right? Okay. Now let's come back to the array destructuring. Suppose I have this kind of array, and as I say, if I just do, actually one thing, I'm not sure if you guys notice, in case of array destructuring, what we use a square brackets, right? If I want to destructure is, I would use square brackets. But if square brackets, you are seeing this square brackets, right? If temp is an object, let's say if it's an object, what I'll use curly braces. That's the difference. In case of object destructuring, you need to use how an object looks, right? With the help of curly braces, we form the object, right? That's where we use object. And how an array looks, right? With the help of square brackets, we form an array. And that's where, while destructuring an array, we use the square brackets, right? Now let's get back to array destructuring. So let's say I have this temp array, and what if want to extract the first two value? I will do like this, right? And A will get the value of A, B will get the value of 2. Now, what I want to skip some item. Let's say I want to skip the second item. I want to access the third item. So what I will do, I'll just place one more comma. So the second item, what does it mean? 1 will be assigned to 2. Second item, we don't have anything on the second item, right? So 2 will be skipped. Now 3 will be assigned to B, right? So if I just say console.log B, let's see what happens. So A is equal to 1, B is equal to 3, right? So what we know now, we can skip the element as well in between while extracting the values and assigning into some variable, right? That is one thing. Now let's get back to object destructuring again. E10, B20, right? Okay, now what I want, so let's do the basic destructuring first, right? So what it will do, it will take the value of key A. What is the value of key A? 10. What is the value of key B? 20. It will assign it to AB, right? And if I just say console.log A, it will print 10. Now what I want, I mean, it should take the value of key A, but the variable it is going to store, it should be some different variable. It should not be uh, the same name as the key have, right? So what I'm talking about to create aliases, right? So how would we do it? So what it will do, it will take the value of A10 and it will assign to the variable A1. It will take the value of B20, that is 20, it will assign it to the variable of B1, right? Now, if I just say console.log A1, console.log B1, let's see what happens. It is printing 10, 20. Okay. So now we know we are able to extract values, right? And at the same time, we can create any name, right? Any name aliases, and value would be stored to that alias only, right? Got it, right? Okay. Now what if let's take this example only. Let's say I don't have beans be in this temp object. Still I'm saying that assign the value of b to this b1 variable, right? Now I don't see b in this temp object. What should happen here? If I just print console log b, sorry, I should be printing b1 because now I would be accessing the things with the alias name only. So what it is doing, it's going to take the value of b and store into this b1 variable. Let's see what happens. So it's printing undefined, right? Because I don't have any b variable. right? Now, in such cases, if I want to assign some default values, right? What I can do, I'll just say 30. So let's say I'll just say equal to 30. If B is not there, it will assign value 30 to B1, 30. Let's say if B is there and the value of B 40, right? Correct. So B is 40, that's where it will assign that value to 40. If B is not there, it will assign the 30 to B1. So uh, that is all about defaulting a value, right? What should be the default value while destructuring an object. And similar thing works with array as well, right? Suppose let's say I have an array. Uh, let's say 1, 2, and now I need to use array destructuring. So I will use square bracket. I'll just say BC is equal to 30, right? So 1 will be assigned to B, 2 will be assigned to B, sorry, 1 will be assigned to A, 2 will be assigned to B. I don't have anything for C, so I will say C is equal to 30. So if you see C, it will be 30, right? Okay, now let's talk about nested object thing. Let's say I have a person object, or maybe I should be having some already existing object. Here we go. So I have this person object. It is having like ID1, name is equal to Bharat, and address is equal to this, right? Now, what if I want to extract the value of state, right? I want to extract the value of state. Okay, so let's go one by one. So since it's an object, right? I will, let's try to extract the address value, right? Let's see what does it print. I'll just say console.log address. Okay, let's say what does it print. It's printing the address. That's how we print the address, right? Now, what I'll do, I'm using a name aliases, right? I'll store into some address one variable. What is my address one? Address one is my address, right? Now, since address one is a kind of an object again, right? I can actually destruct this object as well, right? Sorry. And now this object is having two keys, state and city. I'll just say state. And now I will use an alias for state as well. And I will access this, my state here. So it should be UP, right? So you see, right, how the destructuring is helping us. So first I took the address is stored in some alias, and I notice alias is also an object. I can further destruct it, and what I need to extract, what I need to access it, I need to access the state, and I will be storing this state into some another alias. I call it my state. That's how it works, right? So think about if destructuring is not there, what I need to do, I need to do person dot address dot my state, right? This is how we used to access. Now with the help of destructuring, I am able to create this local variable my state, and at the same line, right, I am able to access the value of state. So this is something you can call it as destructuring a nested object, right? Okay. Now let's say, suppose I have this function that what it does, get value from object, right? So let's see, I have this person object. Let's see, I have this person object. Okay. And now what it does, this function accept the value as key, right? Got it, right? And now what it does, this function need to return the value of that key. If I am passing this get value as ID, it should return me, it should return me 1. If I am passing name, it should be, it should return me Bharat, right? Now I need to destructure the object again, right? But the difference is the key is dynamic. Sometime it is going to be ID, sometime it is going to be name. So here we are dealing with dynamic property name. How do we deal with it? So what what would I do? I'll just say constant, and since it's an object, I will use curly braces. And now since the key that I used to access like directly by the name, I just cannot do it, right? Because I don't know it's a variable. Key is a variable now. So with that, I need to use these square brackets, and I will store into some value variable, and this would be my object, right? And I would just say return value. Let's see if it works. 1 Bharat. Perfect. I think you guys got it, right? So precisely what used to happen if we are destructuring a object, we were knowing it, right? Which kind of key we want. It is a ID or something like that. So if we know the key, we can just use ID, right? But if we don't know whether it's going to be ID, name, or something like that, it's kind of dynamic. It will be decided, the value of key is going to be decided at the runtime when we are calling the function. If it is a dynamic, it's kind of variable. We have to use the square bracket to destructure that value, right? So this is something on destructuring when we have to use dynamic property name, right? Okay. Now let's talk about what can be the uses of this destructuring, right? The very basic use that comes into my mind is like swapping of the variable, right? We remember we have been asked like a lot of times, suppose what if you want to swap two variable, right? The very basic approach that comes into our mind is like have one third variable and you do like temporary variable is equal to first and first is equal to second and second is equal to temporary variable again, right? But with the help of destructuring, see how things are pretty smooth. So I want to swap this variable, two variable. What I will do, I'll just say AB BA. So B will be assigned to A will be assigned to B. That's it. And let's see what is the value of A. Sorry, what is the value of A? What is the value of B? A is 30, B is 10, right? So first use case, swapping of variable in one line. Now let's say the another example, like another use case. Now we are going to deal with array of objects. We have objects and then we have array of object. Each item of the array is an object. Now what if I say get me the value of uh, first get me the value of a of first object, let's say uh, so what should be our basic approach? I would just say 0th item, first item, and I would just say a. This is how you will access the first item a, right? A inside the first object. But with the help of destructuring, how you can do it, I'll just say let's since it's an array, I would use a square bracket first, and if I need to get the first item, right? Let's see what it is doing. First item. So first item is the object perfect work, but I don't need the first item. I need the value of A inside first item. So since we just noticed first item is an object, I can further destruct it, right? And when I'm using destructuring of an object, I need to use curly braces, right? And what I need to get A, I'll just say A. Let's see what happens. A is 10. What if I want to assign into some variable? Create alias of it, right? It will value will be assigned to A1. Perfect, right? Okay. Now mm, let's say you have an array 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say 5. Okay. Now what I want, apart from first element, I want to get all the element into one array, right? Apart from first element, apart from element that is 1, I want to get all the elements into some array, right? How would I do it? I can make use of destructuring as well. So I'll just say, since I am destructuring an array, I would use a square bracket. So if I just say A will be assigned to 1 will be assigned to A. And if I just use 3 dot and I will call it rest console.log, if I just say rest, so I'm able to get all the elements apart from one into array. So what is this? This is we call a rest operator. I see many people are confused between rest and spread. I will create a separate video around it, but for now you can think this is a rest operator. It's not a spread operator, right? That is what most people are confused about. It's a rest operator, right? It is getting used in destructuring, right? What it is doing, it is collecting all the elements. It is collecting all the elements and putting into some variable that is called rest. It is getting used in destructuring, right? That's not the case with spread. Spread is different. Spread is like spreading the element. If I just say let a is equal to 1, 2, 3, right, and let b is equal to 3, 4, 5, and if I just create a b, right, now if I just say console dot log c, sorry, let me comment this out. So you see this, right? What happened here? So you are taking the array, you are spreading the element here. You are taking an array, you are spreading the element here, and all the element are getting combined into getting stored into C. So this is here it will be called spread operator, right? And the one we used in the destructuring is called rest operator. It's doing kind of reverse to that, right? It's taking the elements and putting into and creating an array out of it, right? Taking the element and now rest is an array, right? And spread is like you are spreading the element. So always remember, whenever we are using destructuring, this 3 dot that will create the rest of array, it will create a rest operator. It will be called as a rest operator, right? That is one thing, right? Okay, now let's talk about an object. Okay, A is equal to 20, B is equal to 30, C is equal to 50, right? Now, what if I want to create an object which should be having all the keys but A? What I can do now, I need to extract the destructure the object. I'll just say A and I'll just say rest. Okay, it's a rest operator. Now if I just say console.log rest, what happened? Okay, so it's giving you the object apart from the key A. Okay, right? That is one thing. The another use case of this destructuring, maybe you can think of a function which returns multiple value, right? Uh, Return multiple value, something like that. Suppose, what if I want to return like multiple values from this function, right? Let's say I am having this add variable which will do b, and I am having this subtract variable which will do a minus b, right? And what I can do, I can just return add and sub both. And now what I can do, I can call this function return multiple value, and I'll just say 5 and 3, right? And I can just destruct those values. So what it is returning, it is an array of add and sub, and I'm just destructing it again, right? Let's see what happens. Console.log sub, okay, 8 and 2. Perfect, right? So with the help of destructuring, you are able to kind of return multiple values from a function, right? And at the same time, you can destruct it, right? Again. Okay. Oh, think about a function, let's say get person, right? And it accept an object, right? And what it does, it return person dot name, let's say, or return, or maybe instead of returning, let's try to print the value person dot name, console dot log person dot roll number, right? And if I am just saying get person, I'm passing an object here. I'll just say name is equal to Bharat, and let's say I am sorry, what is happening? Roll number is equal to, let's say 14, right? Now think about this get person function. It is accepting a person as an object, right? If I want to access the value of name and roll number, this is how we use it, right? Person dot name, person dot roll number. But since it's an object, I can again destruct it, isn't it? The name and the roll number, and I can use those value here, right? So you can use the destructuring at the function argument level as well. Let's see what happens. Works. Okay, perfect. Let's explore some more example. Let's suppose if you are having a collection of books and each object represent an ID and the name of the book, right? Now, if I just say, get me the name of the first book, what will you do? You will do books 0 dot name, right? It will give you the name of the first book. But let's make use of destructuring here. Since it's an array, I will use square brackets. Now I need to use first book. So it will give me the, so since it's an array destructuring, the first item, what is the first item of this books array? This object, it will get assigned to this first book. Now let's see what is coming inside the first book. Perfect, the name is coming. Now since it's an kind of object, I can further destruct it. How would I destruct it? I'll just say name, and I can use the name here working. At the same time, I can create an alias out of it, right? And I can use that name, right? What if the first book doesn't have a name? I'll just initialize the default name. Okay, perfect. Now, what I want to do, I want to collect name of all the books, right? So how we can do it? I'll just say books.map, books.map, return it will be book, and this book object I can just say book.name. That's how you do it, right? And let's say um, constant constant get all names. If I just say, and if I print it console.log get all names, let's see what is it written. It's returning the book array. So that's what I needed it, right? That's how we normally do it, right? But since this book is an object, I can further destruct it, and it is having like name as a key, so I can use directly the name. Didn't print. Okay. Console.log get all names, book 1, book 2, right? Okay, let's explore some more example. Suppose this is an array of my actually name, first name, middle name, last name. What I need is I need to write a function which should return an object saying that first name is equal to Bharat, middle name is equal to Kumar, and last name is equal to Sevani. What the basic approach that comes into my mind? Get object, something like this. And what I will do, if I just say name, right? And what it will do, I'll just say return first name is equal to name 0, something like that, right? I can do it. And I'll just say middle name is equal to name 1, right? Something like that. And I just say, oh, sorry, um, last name is equal to name 2, right? So this is how it will return, right? If I just say get object, and I will pass my name, and if I just say console.log, what does it return? Let's see. It's returning the first name, name, last name, right? But with the help of destructuring, what it should return? Since this is an array, right? This is an array. I can further destructure it, right? And I can do like this: first name, name, L name, right? So first item will be assigned to this, second item will be assigned to this, third item will be assigned to this. Now I can directly use this f name, m name. What is this? L name, right? Now let's try to this same result. I think we also know this, right? If an object is having key and the value is the same name, you can use this syntax as well. You just need to return the key's name and it will automatically figure out for you. So this syntax looks much cleaner, isn't it? Perfect, right? So that is one example. Okay. Okay, that is one thing. Now, another similar example. I'm actually enjoying it. Let's say you have same like student score, right? What is this? It's kind of arrays of arrays, arrays of array. First element is probably related to first student, second is related to the second student, and this like 85, 90, it's like some of the scores of some of the subject, right? What we want to do, we want to create a kind of we want to create an array of object. Like currently it's an array of array, we want to create an array of object, and each object should say name is equal to li's, subject 1 is equal to 85, subject 2 90, subject 3 is equal to 92, right? How do we deal with it? So what is the basic approach that comes into our mind, right? Like this. What I'll do, transform data as to underscore dot map, just a function student. Now student is an array, right? Student is an array. it will say student 0, 1, 2, 3. See, student, now student is an array. I can further destruct it. First name, uh, and subject 1, let's say subject 2, subject 3. And I can, or maybe I should just say name. Why I'm calling it first name. So name is equal to name. And let's say S1 subject, S2 subject, S3, right? S1, S2, and S3, right? So since I told you, right, if the name and the key are same, we can just get rid of it, right? And things will work. Let's see what happens. Nothing happens. I need to log it. Console.log transform data. Okay, works. We converted an array of array to an array of object, right? Okay. Now let's see. I am having this kind of object. Who is Charlie? Uh, so uh, traveling. Okay. Now I there is a person called named as Bharat. He is having like several hobbies. I want to access the first hobby, right? How can I do it? I'll just say, since it's an object, I'll use the curly braces. Let's try to access everything like it. I can get the name like this, right? Name like this, age like also this name will get assigned to this, age 25 will be assigned to age here, right? And then if I just say hobbies, let's say what we get in hobbies, right? Hobbies is reading, traveling, perfect. Now probably let's say I'll create a variable my hobbies and I'll print my hobbies. My hobbies is printing. Since my hobbies is an array, I can further destruct it and I can just say first hobby and second hobby, and I can access my first hobby. Okay, reading. My first hobby is reading. Isn't it cool? The way we are accessing the things, like whatever we want, we can access it. Okay, so I guess this is all I had on JavaScript destructuring. If you guys still have any doubts around it, feel free to drop in comments. I would be more than happy to answer it. And if you guys are liking the content, please don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thanks, guys.